everyone, welcome back on my YouTube channel. My name is Iras Suhartini. I am student 7th semester at Indraprasta PGRI University. This material, English for specific purposes, I want to explain about theories of learning. Let's get started! Okay guys, now we are going to talking about theories of learning in English specific purposes. In ESP courses, the teacher has put more effort than general courses. For example, if the teacher is not familiar with such specific subject as the blast furnace or power station, he won't be able to want to prepare his own material for this matter. It is not always possible to find what material you want to use during the course in the course book. There are 5 stages have identified of development which are commonly known as: the first is behaviorism, the second is mentalism, the third is cognitive code, the fourth is the affective factor, and the fifth is learning and acquisition. Okay guys, now we are going to talking about behaviorism or learning as habit formation. This theory of learning was based on the works of Pavlov and Skinner. They considered learning as a mechanical process of habit formation and proceeds by means of the frequent reinforcements of a stimulus-response sequence. This theory has the large impact in the learning psychology and in the language teaching. This theory provides the theoretical to support the use of audio-lingual method of the 1950s and 1960s. This method is very good because it is concluding a set of guiding methodological principles which is based on the behaviorism stimulus-response concept, and secondly on an assumption that second language learning should reflect and imitate the process of mother tongue language. The processes are: the first is never translate, the second is new language should always deal with this process: hearing, speaking, reading, and writing. The third is frequent repetition is essential to effective learning. And the fourth, all errors must be immediately corrected. The basic exercise technique of behaviorist methodology is pattern practice, in which the language that being used is in the form of language laboratory drills. And now we are going about mentalism. Our thinking is rule-governed activity. From the audio-lingual method, there was considerable empirical evidence among language teachers because the method was not delivering the good results. The reason why they argue that because in the language learning process, the learners still translating things. As for rules of grammar, found repeating things and something failed to learn something even though they already learned the thing so many times. There was the time when Chomsky called success in the behaviorist theory, but because there was concept of generalization in behaviorist theory that he could not explain that, so he dismissed this concept. His conclusion of the theory was thinking must be rule-governed, as a finite, fairly small set of rules enables the mind to deal with the potentially infinite range of experience it may encounter. In the learning language, half thinking as rule-governed activity was also the step in learning, which learning not only consists of forming habit, but also acquiring rules where the process in which the experience of somebody is being used by the mind to formulate hypotheses. The hypothesis will be tested and modified by subsequent experience. The mind that is being used not only responds to a stimulus, but in here, the individual stimuli is used in order to find the underlying pattern or system in learning language. The knowledge then being used of the system in a situation to predict what is going to happen, what is an appropriate response for it. And the third, I will explain about cognitive code or learners as thinking beings. According to the cognitive theory, learning is a process in which the learner actively tries to make sense of data. This theory treats the learner as thinking beings and puts them firmly at the center of learning process by stressing that learning will only take place when the matter to be learned is meaningful to the learner. Therefore, in cognitive theory, learning is a process in which the learner tries to make a sense of data. Learning can also mean that the learner has managed to force some short, meaningful interpretation or pattern on the data. In other words, that we learn by thinking and trying to make sense of what we see, feel, and hear. Recently, the cognitive view of learning has significant impact of ESP through the development of courses to teach reading strategy. The ESP project have made the students aware to theory reading strategy so the learner will easy to understand the text in foreign language. And the fourth, I will explain about the affective factors or learner as emotional being. Affective factors are the emotions or feelings that stem from the affective domain of human behavior. People think and feel. Learning, particularly the learning of language, is an emotional experience, and the feelings that the learning process evokes will have a crucial bearing on the success or failure of the learning. Cognitive domain, there is comprehension, recollections, evaluations, and analysis must be balanced with affective domain. There is motivation, attitudes, values, and relations. As it was said previously, the relationship between the cognitive and emotional aspects of learning is one of vital importance to the success or otherwise of a language learning experience. This brings us to a matter which has been one of the most important elements in the development of ESP is motivation. The most influential study of motivation in language learning has been Gardner and Lambert's in 1972 study of bilingualism in French-speaking Canada. They identified two terms of motivation: instrumental and integrative. The first, integrative motivation. Motivation of a language learner in order to indulge in the community of the target language, driven by self-interest of the language learner of the elements in the target language. Instrumental motivation. Motivation of a language learner in order to achieve certain goals other than integrative goals. In the language, mainly for the application of the target language. And last, I will explain about language and acquisition. Learning is seen as a conscious process, while acquisition proceeds unconsciously. The acquisition learning distinction is the most fundamental of all the hypotheses in creations theory and the most widely known among linguists and language practitioners. That's enough for me. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.